know your rights, protect your neighbours. That's what New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani posted to social media over the weekend, alongside this video, which has garnered some criticism from the right. Take a look.
Last weekend, ICE attempted to raid Canal Street and detain our immigrant neighbors. As mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker, and that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call this city their home. But we can all stand up to ICE if you know your rights. It is important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. One last thing. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest, and when I'm mayor, we will protect that right.
Mamdani goes on to warn that ICE can legally lie to people, and he even showed what a judicial warrant looks like, saying that without such a warrant, New Yorkers can keep their doors closed and refuse entry.
As Mamdani mentioned, this all comes a week after ICE tried to detain people near New York's Chinatown and were met with demonstrators. In response to the video, Homeland Security Secretary Noem suggested the mayor-elect may be breaking the law. Take a listen.
Mayor, if he were mayor, could be violating the Constitution by giving advice on how to evade law enforcement and how to get away with breaking the law. It's really unbelievable in this country what we're seeing. These politicians, if they don't like the law, then go frickin' change it. Go change the law. That's your job, is to actually have debate, have discernment, to create a law that actually puts America first.
I think he actually stated the law, but we'll get into that in a second. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who has at times been sceptical of Mamdani, came to his defence, saying on Monday that she had, quote, no problem with his instructional video. She went on to say, quote, everybody in this state should know their rights for themselves, their families or their neighbours, and their fellow worshippers in places of worship. So, no, everybody should know these rights because they're being trampled on right now.
Yeah, I actually didn't have any problem with what I heard from Mamdani there. Actually, the opposite. He said, don't run, don't resist arrest. Those are good things that many pro-law enforcement conservatives want people to be aware of. It's very bad to flee the cop. That can create all sorts of dangerous situations for you, for them, for other people. Don't run, don't resist, but know your rights. Know that you don't have to open your doors to them without a warrant. You shouldn't lie to them. You should say nothing. Say nothing until you get an attorney. I say that all the time on Rising. Really? I want people to know their rights in traffic interactions, or if they just come up to talk to you, don't talk to the police. How many times do I say this? Do not talk to the police. Even if you just want to help them. Even if you have information you want to relay to them, you do that through an attorney. You don't just volunteer information to them, even if it seems totally benign. Don't do it. So I have no problem at all with him saying that. What is Noem talking about? Yes, I would criticize him if he said run from the cops or deliberately disobey them or fight with that or made it sound like he was fomenting some kind of anti-law enforcement activity. That's not what he said at all.
Or if you're illegally in the country, lie about it or something like that. Like he's not suggesting anything like that.
You didn't watch the same video.
No. And as you know, this is one of our points of unity. We're firm believers in not talking to the cops without attorneys present. Yeah. And the number of people who get themselves into difficulty by doing that or get manipulated by doing that is enormous. In relation to the ICE topic, it wasn't only that Mamdani noted the sort of precautions that you mentioned. He even said, for example, you have the right to film ICE agents, but not to impede an arrest by doing so. In other words, you can't step between them and the person that they're trying, because you're filming it. You can't do that. You can't impede that element, but you can film it. It is important that people know their rights. It's certainly important that people know that they don't have to let agents of the government into their homes unless those agents have warrants to do so.
This can be applied to conservatives too. When the FBI, you get a call from the FBI and says, hello, sir. We just want to ask you a couple questions about your whereabouts on January 6, 2021, and we think you were near the Capitol, and but you're not a suspect. We just want some information from you. You're not a suspect. Hang up, call your... they don't tell them. So this advice is generally applicable. Now, I've seen some reporting recently, yesterday, that Noem might be on the outs. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, I saw the headlines.
Yes, largely for personnel reasons involving Noem, which I don't know that we should get into, but there's some rumors about her that have been for a long time. However, I think you'll be even less happy if she does get replaced, because she's going to get replaced with Stephen Miller, who is...
Oh, are you serious?
I think that's what would happen. Who is...
One of the most repellent people in American public life.
Much more vigorous about the prosecutions, the deportations of literally all illegal immigrants.
Yeah, I mean, Noem is pretty far to the right, but a sort of performer, really. It's why she's derided by critics with that Barbie label, which you can have all sorts of debates about the sexism of that.
Less ideologically committed to this
exactly.
than Stephen Miller is. I actually quite liked her as governor of South Dakota. I actually at that time would have placed her in a more libertarian category than a lot of other Republican governors in the sort of pandemic things she did, and even some of her... There was even one or two wokeness-related things where she said, well, this is just not the state government's responsibility, so I'm not wading into this, that actually made, like, Fox News, Tucker Carlson people mad, that she wasn't really fighting the whatever gender battle. She's just like, this is not a matter for the state government. Obviously, in this role, she is much more of a traditional MAGA sort of person, but I think she's less committed to it than Stephen Miller's very ideologically committed.
I mean, I could not deny that he's ideologically committed. In my view, he's ideologically committed to all the wrong things, including a general incursion upon democracy, really. I mean, he just thinks that judges who were against Trump are taking part in a judicial coup and this kind of thing. And, I mean, I think he dehumanizes people all the time in his rhetoric. I think he's a terrible, terrible person, terrible presence on our political scene. Kristi Noem doesn't quite incite that level of outrage to me. I read, if I'm recalling this correctly, she wrote a book prior to the Shooting the Dog book. And I read the first one because I was actually trying to get an interview with her. And I quite liked it. I mean, it was about her upbringing and rural life and all of that. She lost her father in a very bad, a kind of farm accident, if I'm recalling correctly. And things like that I was somewhat sympathetic to. I think she has become a more easily mocked figure, honestly. And I don't think, my sense is even people on the right don't think her tenure so far has been particularly impressive.
I think I think Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are the two people that the right is most frustrated with in the administration. I don't think she's put into that category. I'm not sure there's necessarily particular enthusiasm for her either. Some of the very ardent deportation people think she's moving way too slowly on all of that. And yes, they want someone like Stephen Miller to come in there. I mean, Stephen Miller has yelled at Tom Homan behind the scenes saying, how dare you, you're not being serious enough about this, which goes to show you what this department could look like very soon. So,
yes.
I don't know. I kind of hope she sticks it out.
In the Stephen Miller debates, I'm more on the Ilhan Omar side than the Stephen Miller side, as you know, but we discussed that in brief yesterday. Bill Maher got into a heated argument with Anna Kasparian on his podcast as he levelled criticisms against various countries in the Middle East. Not Israel, though. We'll be right back with that.